everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with a recap video of tonight's game between the New York Jets versus the New York Giants, preseason, of course. Now, the Giants did walk away victorious, final score 22-31. There was some good, there was some bad. Let's not waste any time. Let's hop right into it. Now, let's talk about some of the good stuff first, okay? So, and this is probably the most important thing, really, of the whole entire game, which is really, it really says a lot about this New York Jets Adam Gase coach team. The first team, right, both offense and defense, mopped the floor with the Giants' first team. I mean, whether you want to talk about the offense or the defense, we dominated. Okay, the offense, Sam Darnold looked like a beast. We had guys running all across the field, wide open. Guys like Montgomery, guys like Crowder. It was just Chris Herndon had that beautiful catch down the sideline, or down the middle of the field, rather. We had guys just running free. Sam Darnold just looked great, stepping up in the pocket, making throws. He had so much time to throw. The offensive line, it literally looked like Sam Darnold was standing behind a giant wall and he was throwing stones over the wall. Like, the guy wasn't even touched. The one time that I felt like the offensive line kind of fell, there was like a leak in the offensive line. Sam stepped up in the pocket and hit Herndon down the middle of the field. So I felt like the first team offense just mopped. We went right down the field like that. Really no negative plays at all. Just went right down the field and scored an instant touchdown right out of the gate. Really, really good stuff. The Giants defense was just confused. There was just problems, issues all across the defense, caused by the Jets offense, which is really, really encouraging. As far as the defense goes, I know it was for only like one series, really, because Gase did pull the starters really, really quick. And by the way, I know I touched on the offense doing really well. We didn't even have our best player, Le'Veon Bell, out on the field. That should say something. So really, really impressed by the first team offense. Darnold, Gase, Loggins, right? All these guys, Crowder, Montgomery, all these guys. The offensive line, everybody stepped up on the first team offense, looked really, really solid, especially for the first preseason game. Maybe the plays could have been scripted. We see that a lot with coaches, really, at the younger level, right, like especially with younger freshman to sophomore quarterbacks at the college level. Chip Kelly was kind of a big pioneer in that category, where it's scripting the first 10-15 plays. The plays could have been scripted, but the offense, for whatever reason, it just looked like a well-oiled machine this early in the season. That's rare. This early in the preseason, I should say. So the offense looked really good. Now the defense, like I said, it wasn't out there for that long. We didn't have Leonard Williams out there, but for 3 plays, it looked like the Giants were running into a brick wall. They had nowhere to go. And then they punted, right? I think it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, handoff, nowhere, punt. So the first team Jets defense, first team Jets offense looked fantastic. Probably the most important part of the game. Everybody's anxious to see how are the starters. What is it going to be like under the new coaches? Right, Gase on offense, Loggins on offense, and of course Greg Williams on defense. Jets first team, the starters looked fantastic. They looked fantastic. Okay. I know I touched on some of the individual players like Darnold and Crowder and some of these guys, but there was a lot to like as far as the starters went. Now, shifting gears to kind of talk about some of the bad stuff, there was a lot of it. Okay, there was some stuff that it was really getting under my skin, right? It was really driving me up a wall. First things first, Catanzaro. He had 2 missed kicks. Really, really frustrating stuff, considering that we did not fork over the cash to Jason Myers, a guy who was a Pro Bowler last year, a guy who loved being a New York Jet. And I remember complaining about it when we did not re-sign this guy, right? When we went out and we did not make it a priority, because it is a luxury to have a good kicker in this league. Go look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a fantastic roster built, but they struggle big time with the special teams, right? Extra points, field goals late in games. Some teams around the league really cannot get the kicker right. I felt like the Jets finally got it right, and then he walks out of the door after 1 year, after having an amazing season. And it's just not encouraging, right? It's not ideal to have a guy go out there to bring him back. Catanzaro, he used to be a Jet, ex-Jet, comes back to the team, and he misses 2 extra points. in his first preseason game. It's just it's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, Jason Myers is probably sitting over there in Seattle getting ready for his game, laughing that Catanzaro's missing. So really, really frustrating. I hope that does not come back to bite us. I hope we don't lose games by field goals. I hope we don't lose games by 1 or 2 points, by missed extra points. It kind of worries me. I don't want to have flashbacks of this moment week 8, week 9, week 10, week 11 of the season, right, where the games really, really start to matter as far as the playoff picture goes. So special teams I thought was horrible. Well, really just the kicking part of special teams. I thought Greg Dortch, he had a really nice punt return, by the way. That did not go unnoticed. Now, another really bad thing was the second and third team DBs got absolutely torched. I mean, I keep seeing people on Twitter, and they're talking about Daniel Jones being amazing and whatnot. 5 complete. He did what he had to do. Obviously, he only threw it 5 times, and he completed all 5 passes. But at the end of the day, 5 completions. But I think the bigger storyline was just the DBs. They got torched, whether it was Jones, whether it was Alex Tammy. Alex Tammy had a fantastic game. He has kind of, he has funky mechanics, really kind of cocks the ball back behind his ear, has, a really loopy release, but the guy dominated. The guy, he shredded the Jets defensive backs. I mean, he was making some of these guys really, really struggled. Derek Jones and stuff like that. Felt like Middleton could have had a better game. There was a few other guys down the stretch where it was just tough to watch. It was one of those games where you felt like anytime the ball was, it was a passing play by the Giants, it was going to be complete. There was really nothing that we can do about it. It was just kind of, oh man, it's a passing play. It's going to be a big completion for 10, 15, 20 yards. So that was really, really tough to watch. I felt like anybody kind of could have went out there and just completed passes on this Jets secondary. Whether it's like a guy, a veteran, a rookie, what have you, doesn't really matter. I felt like anybody could have went out there and did their thing. So really, those were the main 2 negatives of this game. Just the second and third team defense, or the defensive backs. We couldn't really cause that much pressure down the stretch either. With guys like Blake Cashman. He had one really, really bad missed tackle. Ja'Kai Polite, I kind of wish he had made more of an impact. But, I mean, you can't nickel and dime it. You can't, split hairs here. It's just one preseason game. And then I also kind of felt like Davis Webb should have played a little bit better. I mean, he was correct on some of his reads early in the game. But, I mean, that pick, it was just, I had a knot in my stomach watching that guy run it back for a pick 6. So, there was some frustrating stuff for sure. The defensive backs, the kicking, Davis Webb, not ideal. Okay, not ideal. But the good news is we still have 3 preseason games, 3 full weeks of training camp to get this thing right. And as far as the actual starters go, did really well. Like I said before, the Jets offense, the Jets first team offense made the Giants first team defense. It was child's play running through that defense. I mean, it was just a piece of cake. Sam Darnold did not even get touched. I mean, he was looking around like laughing and stuff like that. It was crazy. I was totally pumped. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section about this game. What did you like? What did you didn't like? And let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's late. We had that weather delay, of course. I think it was like an hour and a half weather delay due to thunderstorms or what have you. But in any case, thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.